Starting factoring. That's on you if you don't remember it. Starting factoring, guys. Factoring something you already know how to do. Whether or not you've done it with polynomials, I'm going to make the gigantic assumption you have not. Riley, put the phone away. So I'm going to make the gigantic assumption that you have not done any polynomial factoring, but you have done numeric factoring. If I were to ask you top line, if I were to ask you to break down something like what are the factors of 12, everybody here should be able to get to 2 times 2 times 3, right, Seth? All right. 2 times 2 times 3 makes our 12, so we know what factoring is. It's breaking something down into multiplications. The same thing with polynomial factoring. Same things we have with polynomial factoring. We're always looking when we have a monomial or a polynomial. How come you missed somebody, Joseph? Okay. So, all right. Polynomial factoring, we're always looking for the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor. We're starting off, the first three are going to go super quick and easy. I believe I have 2x squared minus 12. So we look at these two objects. We have 2x squared and we have negative 12. And we ask ourselves the question, what is the greatest common factor between 2x squared and negative 12? And the answer is 2. Okay, 2. 6 does not go into 2. So what is the biggest number that goes into both of these? It's 2. So we factor a 2 out. If I factor a 2 out of 2x squared, what's left? Great. And if I factor a 2 out of negative 12, what's left? Negative 6. Good. That's it. And we could double check really quick. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Fantastic. This is when we factor a single item out of a polynomial. So out of the next one, Raymond, what do we have? We have 7x squared minus 14x plus 21, I believe. Cubed. Hey, I remembered everything else from like an hour and a half ago, so you could jump on people's heads. Anyways, 7. We're going to factor a 7 out. And what would be left over, Raymond, if I factor 7 out of 7x cubed? Yeah, the other Raymond's gone. If I factor 7 out of this, what's left out of the first term? X to the third, then close. Negative 2x. Next. Plus 3. Any massive questions on this super easy stuff? Sione? Sure. Let me get it down. 8x squared plus 2x. So be careful on this one. Be careful on this one. Two twists, both of them very minor. Sione, what's the greatest common factor out of both those terms? Close. No. Richard? 2x. 2x. So a couple of things to be careful for, just because, like, don't always just base what you can pull out off the first coefficient. Always look for the smallest, right? The equivalent of this would be if we said everybody's going to pitch in for a party, right? But everybody has to pitch in an equal amount of money. Everybody has to pitch in an equal amount of money. And let's say I've got $50, Raymond's got $37, Dimitri's got 18, okay, Kaya's got 42, Kaylee's got 77, right? All these things. And then we get to Savannah. Savannah's got $2, and, you know, Kelsey's got 18. How much is each person chipping in? 2. We all are chipping in an equal amount. Savannah can only chip in 2. So that means we can't do more because then she can't do it at all, right? And that's what's going on. What can each one give up? So right here, 2x, these can each give up a 2 because of this one, but no more. No more than that because that limits it. And they can each give up an x, the x squared. Sure, this one could give up 2x's because of the x squared, but we're limited by that 2x. If I take 2x out of 8x squared, Sione, what do I have? Huh? 4x. I've taken an x and a 2 out of it. The 2 takes the 8 down to a 4, and taking an x out takes it down to just an x. If I take 2x out of 2x, what do I get? Huh? 1. Good catch. Okay? Remember, guys, factoring is a division, because when I go back to undo it, I'm multiplying, so this is a division. 2x divided by 2x is 1. Is everybody okay on factoring a single thing out of a polynomial? So we can't always do that. I'll get your question in a second, Raymond. We can't always do that, but we should always check to see if I can start with that step. Raymond.
Couldn't you just like not use the x for 2x and just like leave like x squared off?
No, because I'm always looking to pull the greatest common factor out if I can.
Oh, great. Okay.
Always looking to pull the greatest common factor out. It's going to make our lives. It's going to be important for factoring later, for if it can factor further. Super easy stuff. Fantastic. Everybody okay? These are the Batesisms. I always want to see it when students think they can mimic me and up in front of the classroom. I always want to see it because other people have certain mannerisms that they use all the time. And so I've seen Lossie, I've seen Estrada, I've seen certain people, but I've never seen anybody really accurately do me. So Holly and Kalani are over there giving themselves a look like we can do this. We got this. We've got this. You got me down. So and then Destiny's over here writing down phrases as well. Michael's on his phone, so he doesn't know. So. Anyhow, so right now we're going to be factoring trinomials. Do you have a question, Riley? Right now, no. There's no need today. So there will be no need today. So right now we're going to learn about factoring a trinomial. This is a method that I've seen. I stumbled all over it every year when I first teach it. You guys are lucky to have me 6th period instead of 3rd. 3rd's where I make all my errors, and then 6th I'll make no errors, or less anyways. When I learned how to do factoring trinomials, Kaylee, when I learned how to factor trinomials, it was here are 100 trinomial problems, factor them, and I do this method called guess and check. And then when I was done with that, maybe the next year, it's like, here's another couple of 100 problems. And I've just done hundreds and hundreds of these things, and to the point that it's not really guessing anymore. It's turned into something a little bit more accurate for me. And that's how I factor. But when I got to teaching, I had to learn a different way because most of the time students, society has moved away from this hundreds of problems of homework a night to much more concise amounts of homework. So I had to learn a different way, so that way it's something a bit more surefire. And so this is the Xbox method, and it came out before the console came out, so don't think that it's named after that or anything of the sort. So right now we're going to factor 3x squared minus 2x minus 5, if it can be. So we have 3 columns here, guys. We have 3 columns, if you can't tell the way I split up my wording. Okay. If you can't tell by the way I split up my wording, we have 3 columns. First, we set up the x. Yes, make it that big. Okay. On the top of the x, we're going to put in what our first term times our last term is. Okay, so it's ax squared times c. So that's going to be 3x squared times negative 5. Which is negative 15x squared. Obviously, once you guys know how to set up your x, you don't need to put those top 2 lines. You just write the negative 15x squared. We're golden. In the bottom one, we're going to put our b term, which is negative 2x. Then we jump over to the middle column, and we write down everything possible using integers, everything possible that multiplies to negative 15x squared. Multiplies to negative 15x squared. Well, we have x times negative 15x. Actually, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. Okay. We have negative x times positive 15x. Have I lost anybody? Colin, you good? Cool. We have, because I have to get a negative 15, so it's a positive times a negative. So it could be that way, it could be that way. Well, no, there are more things that multiply to negative 15x squared. What else? I did that. Negative 5x and positive 3x. How about positive 5x and negative 3x? Anything else that multiplies to negative 15x squared? No. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. So now we need to look to, so we added to the top, which was negative 15x squared, and we multiplied to the top, which was negative 15x squared. We're going to add to the bottom, which is negative 2x. We can only choose out of the things that we picked up here. So which one will do it, Sione? Oh, question. Go ahead. No? Yeah, this is going to be it at the second. We're going to add one more little line. That's it. Okay? Out of these, does 1 minus 15 make negative 2? No. Does negative 1 plus 15 make negative 2? No. Does negative 5 plus 3 make negative 2? Yes, it does. So there's our lucky winner. Negative 5x and a positive 3x add to a negative 2x. So we take our multiples and we see which ones add to that middle. If none of these, if you've got all the options up here and none of them add to that middle term, then it can't be factored. Non-factorable is an option. So now we found the two ones that work, negative 5x and positive 3x, and those go on the sides. Questions? 30-second pause, digestion. Where'd Elias go? Yeah? I know. That's because I put those speakers in your bedroom and I put subliminal messages that I play at night. Yeah. I've got to do everything I can to get that math in your guys' heads. I'll go to any length. All right. Find your period. Because you're waiting on Elias still? And you're dying? Yeah. Okay. All right, we good, guys? All right, the last sec. We make a box. Okay. Yes, like a Punnett square. Okay. Are we good so far, guys? Any questions on what I've done? So, yes.
Why'd you draw a window?
So, in this top corner, you're going to put your a term, which is 3x squared. In this bottom right corner, you're going to put your c term, which is negative 5. Now, all the work we did in the first two columns to get those two side numbers, the negative 5x and the 3x, they go in the remaining squares. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. Now we go back to the thing that we did in the very first few seconds of the lesson. We look for a greatest common factor. Yes?
Why is it negative 5?
Because it's my c term.
Oh.
Don't forget, guys, I put above it what this is, right? This is ax squared, bx, and c. Say, okay? All right, so the two sides of the square go in. Now I do greatest common factors going up and going to the right. Okay, greatest common factors up and to the right. So, Miguel.
No.
Yeah. Miguel, what is common between 3x squared and 3x? Huh? 3x. Okay, 3x. What's common between negative 5x and negative 5?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. What is common between 3x squared and negative 5x? X. What's common between 3x and negative 5? Nothing. And if nothing's in common, what could I factor out? 1, because 1 changes nothing. So this trinomial, question. Only do a minus if they both have a minus. Okay? And that's a lie. That's not a lie. It's not if they both have a minus. Only do a minus, I believe, if one of these is minus, then you do the minus. But since the 3x is positive, it thinks plus. That's an I think. Deal with it for now. Yeah. So this is going to factor into x plus 1 times 3x minus 5. And now I've factored this trinomial. Don't forget to put it in parentheses, Kai. No, wait. You want me to scroll it up, Glosson? Okay. Any questions on the process? Yes, Holly.
Why is 3x being subtracted by 5? Is that just the order you go down in?
Why is what? Shh. Guys.
The left-hand side, do you just go down?
Yep. Yep, it's x plus 1 times 3x minus 5.
So what exactly did you?
Richard?
It's the thing in front of the x plus 1 with a really messed up arrow.
Yes. Really seems to be an exaggeration, though. It's just a messed up arrow, not a really messed up arrow. Huh? It's x plus 1 times 3x minus 5. And if we double check it, x times 3x is, yeah, you guys could take those seats. That'd be good. 3x squared, x times negative 5, and 1 times 3x, and to 3x and negative 5x, negative 2x. Yes. 1 times negative 5. Okay, so this is accurate.
So we just factored that.
We just factored that.
That's the answer?
Yes. I just said that. Destiny.
That's Destiny's favorite question.
Well, the thing is, it's when she says it right after I say, so the answer is. And then she goes, so is that the answer? Nah. Well, I say look back to it. 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. I do. This is something we need to practice. Plus 3x minus 9. Come on. There it goes.
Are you sure you're not just saying that because you almost failed this class?
What?
Are you sure you're not just saying that?
I can make that a little smaller. Okay. Yeah, what's up? Is that your senior? He's not your senior. Okay. Nick, you want to go for it? Who's got you, Nick? Michael? Whoa, hey, you don't talk back to your owner. Do you understand?
Technically, I have early out, so.
Oh, you do have the option. But then you just got to leave my classroom. Yeah. You got to. That's a wise move there. Okay, guys. Nope, not us. Top of the x is what? Negative 18x squared. Okay. Bottom of the x is 3x. Okay. For time purposes, I'm just going a little quicker here. I don't think anybody here is going to be thrown off. What multiplies to 18? Either 1 times 18, 2 times 9, or 3 times 6. Since it was a negative 18, I can swap on which one has the positive sign and which one has the negative sign. So out of my options, out of all those multiplications, if I want to... Adds to 3x, which ones? Negative 3x, positive 6x. Don't forget, if one of those options wasn't available, it would call non-factorable. Yeah, it'd be the end of it. In your homework, the questions, if we actually had the homework assignment, it'd say factor each completely or write non-factorable. Okay. Does anybody here have any questions on this set? Nicole, I haven't actually asked you. Are you doing okay with this? Yeah? Every bit of the process makes sense? Hold on. Okay. Destiny? Yes.
So if it was going to multiply to a positive number, would you have to...
You'd have to do double positives and double negatives. Yes. No matter which way you go, whether or not your value here is positive or negative, you will have two sets. You either be one's positive, one's negative if it's a negative number, or it'll be double positives in the double negative versions if they are both. But to shorten that process, a little bit to answer Destiny's question, if the last number is positive, so if this ends up being positive, you can just look at the middle term. If the middle term is positive, then you only have to worry about the double positives. If the middle term is negative, then you only have to worry about the double negatives. In this case, the middle term was positive 3x. All right. What goes in my top left of the box? 2x squared. Bottom right? Negative 9. This one? Negative 3x or 6x. It doesn't matter. They can alternate. Greatest common factors. So let's go here. Negative 3x and negative 9? Negative 3. 2x squared and 6x? 2x. 2x squared and negative 3x? X. 6x and negative 9? 3. X plus 3 times 2x minus 3. There's my factored answer. There's going to be one other factoring method that we're going to learn when we get back from break before the homework goes out. Sione? If you what? I'm sorry, you guys started all mumbling and I can't hear Sione. Well, no. I mean, when I say there are other methods, oh, you mean all three of these things, these steps? I mean, these steps lead to the answer. The goal is to get here. If you do one of them wrong, you're not going to get the answer. Holly?
Does it matter which way you write?
No, it does not. Because 5 times 3 is 3 times 5. Commutative property of multiplication. Whichever order you put the parentheses in does not matter. Why don't you guys... So before you do the next one, I'm going to start you off on that. And then I want you to do the X box on your own. Destiny, can you read it off to me?
Factor 9x squared plus 66x plus 21.
Huh?
Plus 21.
Okay. Before we do this one, you really should do the GCF. Looking at each of the terms, is there something I can factor out? 3. Somebody said it. I can factor 3 out. So this is really 3 times 3x squared plus 22x plus 7. And that's going to make my life a lot easier when I do the X box. So when you're doing the X box, make sure you use that middle thing. The 3 is just going to hang out until the end. Yes, you are absolutely. If there's a common factor in every term, you are absolutely allowed to factor that out before doing the rest. You don't have to. It's way easier. It could, because that if you something in there that's gumming up the works, it could make your life really heck. Yeah. Why don't you guys take 2 minutes and get the X formed up? Hmm? No, yeah. So your top one will be 3x squared times 7.
So 21x.
Yeah. No. 3 and 7. So this answers up to Destiny's question that she had earlier. If it's a positive that we're multiplying to, do we do do we still have to do positive times positive and negative times negative? If you're writing out the exhaustive list, yes. But if it's a positive number you're multiplying to, you can just look to the sign of the middle term. It's positive, which means I really didn't have to do the negative negatives because those will never add. A negative plus a negative is never going to add to a positive, so I can toss them out. So I could just look to that middle term. Cameron?
For the box, would the left corner be 9x or
3x squared. You're using this slightly factored from the beginning. You're using the slightly factored from the beginning the entire time.
Isn't it 21x?
Oh, 21. Where is it? 20. Eh. Whew. So here's where you have to remember the step that you started out with. First of all, are there any questions here? Thank you for catching me on the 21x, because 2x would have made my life crazy. Okay? Any burning questions?
Wait, I thought you were supposed to multiply the numbers together, right?
What?
Wait, what do you do?
I'm taking out the greatest common factor. What's common between 3x squared and 21x? Yeah. Okay, so the answer is not, let me be very clear, the answer is not 3x plus 1 times x plus 7. Yep, you got to remember from the intro, that 3 is still hanging out front. Don't miss that 3. Okay. If you can, do the last 2 over break if you need to at some point. You know, just some extra practice. I just put a bunch on there because I want you guys to practice it. Pack up. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving.